Shalom. Shalom and welcome. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. The subject of this message is clearing paths. You see, my brothers and sisters, many of us wake up and go through our day-to-day routines, not realizing that Yahuah clears paths. Paths for us to be able to accomplish tasks that he has given us. Paths that are cleared that enable us to accomplish the things for our day. There's a reason why we find favor and mercy in life. And we take these things for granted in our day-to-day walk. But I want you to just take a moment and focus on why the subject of clearing paths is important. Come with me as I unpack this subject. There are two sides to consider when addressing clearing paths. There is the before and the after. Both involve work. Just like if you're in an area where you get snow, you clear the path from your doorstep, those who have a home, or a path that they need to clear to walk with less struggles on ice and snow. And then there's the path that if you come home and it's snowed again, you got to clear it again. There's the path of things that produce obstacles from our mistakes, from our stumbling. That when we reflect on those things and remove them, and we press forward, if gone unchecked, we can face similar obstacles. Each produce a different experience. Both can bring pain. The question is, which experience is better? Being proactive, meaning trying to clear the path ahead, studying, praying, growing strong in set apartness to make way for what lies ahead, or just stumbling and falling and spending time clearing the wreckage. Sometimes we can find ourselves into self-condemnation or depression for mistakes we made, feeling bad about things that we may have done. My brothers and sisters, the blood of the Lamb allows us to be renewed, refresh our path and our minds to be clear, to focus forward and move forward, thus bringing about a better experience. Let us prayerfully examine these words, clearing path. We will face many obstacles as end times ramp up. The need to be mindful of the work necessary for clearing paths will become more and more important. Let it be known, O Yashar'al, let it be known Yahuah has made many promises concerning his children, and this requires actions for clearing paths before and after. In other words, when we stumble and fall, we get under the blood, the atoning blood of the Almighty Father. It's word Yahusha. We get under the atoning blood. We seek forgiveness, repent, and be renewed. There are many occasions where we stumble and fall. When we begin to grow in maturity, we recognize the need to embrace the work for clearing paths. We recognize the need to be more proactive in growing stronger and wiser. There are times we see clearly when we walk in wisdom. During those times, we find ourselves being more proactive in clearing paths. In other words, preparing our mind for what comes ahead, recognizing what is revealed to us, establishing expectations given by Yahuah that we can walk in the desires that he has for us. Also, there will be times when we will find ourselves being reactive, for example, after a bad experience. But do not lose heart, my brothers and sisters. As I stated, we will be renewed through the discipline, the judgment, the guidance of the Almighty Father. It's very critical to recognize where our path begins. All too often in excitement, we forget our beginnings. A good example, given a vision, given a task to do, and becoming distracted, whether it be our phone, technology, or something we see captures our eye, and we forget the path that we was on. And then sometimes we consume time and then realize, say, where is time gone? Because we got off the wrong path. Therefore, we must clear a path to get back, to be renewed, to get straight, to be corrected. You see, too often in excitement, caught up in distraction, being drawn down the rabbit hole, so to speak, too often we forget what was we trying to do in the first place. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, the path that is laid before us comes with many challenges. Let me present to you John 6:44. It says, no one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day. This is Yahusha being quoted in John, saying we can't come to him unless the Father draws him. You see, the Spirit of Yahuah draws us to his word. And by following his word, we're able to walk that path more clearly, more diligently, more safely. John 14:6 says, Yahusha said to him, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So it is important, O Yashar'al, for us to recognize, to reach Yahuah, who is spirit everywhere at all times, we must listen to his word. And who is the word of Yahuah? Yahusha. Is it a Trinity? No. Yahusha reflects the word of Yahuah. And we will grow to clearly understand how that affects our journey on this path to maturity and wisdom, to better worship and service the Almighty Father. Also examine John 14:26, and I speak of it often. Many people don't understand that there's a living spirit of Yahuah communicating to us, joined with us in this earthen vessel, and communicating by his word, Yahusha. Listen to what I'm about to read. John 14:26. It is written, but the helper, the set apart spirit, whom the Father shall send in my name, he shall teach you all and remind you of all that I've said to you. Seek to discern the oneness in Yahuah. There is no Trinity. Yahusha represents the word of Yahuah, and upon his resurrection, the name of Yahuah's set apart spirit. You see, because before the physical presence of Yahusha and before the resurrection, we see where the spirit of Yahuah came upon his prophets and spoke to us, came through his messengers, commonly known as angels, and spoke to us. But upon the resurrection of the physical manifestation of his word, Yahuah sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name. There's a continuity. There's a connection. And many don't understand this because they're using their own competence to read. But we will understand how they are one. Come with me, my brothers and sisters, as I continue. Let me take you to Exodus chapter 14, verses 15 and 16. It says, it is written, and Yahuah said to Moshe, why do you cry to me? Speak to the children of Yashar'al and let them go forward. And you, lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and let the children of Yashar'al go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Many of us know about this story. We've heard of the story of Moshe parting the Red Sea. He cleared a path for his children. And he used one of his servants to guide Yashar'al across the Red Sea. But let's look at something else, my brothers and sisters. Stay with me. There are many examples with the Almighty Father clearing paths for his children. Take a look at Deuteronomy 7:1. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. It is written, when Yahuah, your Almighty One, brings you into the land which you go to possess, he shall also clear away many nations before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. But Almighty Father Yahuah will clear that path. We have been scattered for our disobedience. However, our regathering will soon come, and we will witness instances where there will be times for clearing paths. And in some cases, some will be entangled with the obstacles and left behind because of unbelief, because of disobedience. But many of us will walk along that path that has been cleared, among that path where Yahuah has used someone to guide us, to lead us as he sees fit. Come with me, my brothers and sisters, as I take you to Isaiah 11:12 and 13. Isaiah 11:12 and 13. There's some more to it. For it is written, he shall raise a banner for the nations and gather the outcasts of Yashar'al and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. That gathering, my brothers and sisters, requires a clearing of paths, making a way for us together, open our minds, our understanding, our beliefs, giving us the wisdom to step into the paths that he is clearing in order for us to be gathered. It says, and the envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, and the adversaries of Yehudah be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehudah, and Yehudah not trouble Ephraim. Clearing the path, my brothers and sisters, a gathering from the four corners of the earth. We have not seen that yet, but it's coming. It goes on to say in the 14th and 15th verse, 11th chapter of Isaiah, it is written, but they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines towards the west. Together they plunder the people of the east, their hand stretching forth on Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall be subject to them. And Yahuah shall put under the ban the tongue of the sea of Mitzrayim, and he shall wave his hand over the river with the might of his spirit, and shall strike it in the 7 streams, and shall cause men to tread it in sandals. There will be clearing of path. There will be parting of waters. My brothers and sisters, it goes on to say in the 16th verse, and there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, those left from Ashur as it was for Yashar'al in the day when he came up from the land of Mitzrayim. My brothers and sisters, many, including me, believe this informs us that there will be a final exodus before the physical return of Yahusha Mashiach. There are many scriptures that talk of that mentions that. Pray and watch. The evidence of a gathering of the set-apart children of Yahuah will come to be. Paths will be cleared for us to understand, to see, have the strength to step into those paths, have the strength and power to endure, journeying the path that is laid out before us. It is my position that there are things that occurred in times past that just might be repeated. Take a look, my brothers and sisters. It is widely known how Abba Yahuah parted the Red Sea as a means of clearing the path for his children. Take another look. at 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 8. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 8. It is written, and Eliyahu took his mantle and rolled it up and struck the water, and it was divided this way and that's this way and that, so that the two of them passed over on dry ground. It goes on to say in the 9th verse, and it came to be when they had passed over, that Eliyahu said to Elisha, ask what am I to do for you, and before I am taken away from you? And Elisha said, please let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. So to those who study what is written, we are able to see that Abba Yahuah demonstrates many similar actions throughout history where waters were parted. And we see now where we can better understand if we look at Malachi 3:6 and James 1:17. Malachi 3:6 reads, for I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. And in James 1:17 it says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change, nor shadow of turning. We will see that the Almighty Father cleared paths then, and so will he clear paths now and going forward. Knowing Yahuah does not change, my brothers and sisters, can prove to shape our expectations, our anticipation, and future expectations for clearing paths as we press into our Yahuah's promises. Let us continue. Take a look at Isaiah 35:8, my brothers and sisters. Isaiah 35:8. It says, there shall be a highway and a way, and it shall be called the way of set apartness. The unclean does not pass over it, but it is for those who walk the way, and no fools wander on it. The path that Yahuah clears for us, for his children. He did it in days of old, and so will we witness and recognize these occurrences today. Let me also take you to Isaiah 43, 5 through 7. Isaiah 43, 5 through 7. It says here, it is written here. And you'll hear me say it is written, or it reads, because many people are trying to say the text is the word. Yahusha is the word. And if you read the first chapter of John, you'll see in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yahuah. And the word became flesh, and the word dwelt upon us. And we will see that the spirit that communicates to us, the spirit of Yahuah that communicates to us, is Yahusha. The scripture is the text, but we must always lean on the spirit to make clear. And if you doubt this, look at all the different translations. If we say that these different translations are the word of Yahuah, some of these translations got Jesus, Lord and God. Do you think the Almighty Father will be divided against himself? No, it's the letter. It's the text. But we must pray and discern from the spirit of Yahuah, whose word come in Yahusha's name to guide us and make clear understanding of the letter. That's why it is written, the letter kills and the spirit makes alive. Without the spirit making known what the scriptures mean, we get what we have today, confusion, conflict, debates over the different translations. But let me read Isaiah 43, 5 through 7. Do not fear, for I am with you. I shall bring your seed from the east, gather you from the west. This requires removing obstacles, clearing paths. I shall say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar, my daughters from the ends of the earth. All those who are called by my name, whom I have created, formed, even made for my esteem. These are those who he has chosen to fulfill this promise. There are people that would want to make you feel good by telling you, all of Yashar'al, we going to the promised land before the physical return of Yahusha. Everybody. But they forget, the scriptures say some of us will be killed before that gathering. If you read 24th chapter of Matthew, even the 21st chapter of Luke, you'll see some of us will be killed for Yahusha's name. We'll be martyrs. Some of us will just die of natural causes, will not be physically alive at that time. You see, my brothers and sisters, there's a scripture that says all will be gathered. No one will be left behind. Those who face physical death, when we who are set apart children of Yahuah die, we are in his bosom. So we're not left behind. Sure, we can say those physical bodies that were buried in the dirt or whatever was done to them upon physical death was left behind. But we, that part of us that is everlasting, is the inward man. We sleep in the bosom of Yahuah until such time. But don't think that, all of us getting ready to go. No, my brothers and sisters, that's not going to happen. It says who he made for his esteem. There will be some of us that will be physically alive that will fulfill a final exodus before the physical return. Let me continue with the 18th and 19th verse, 43rd chapter of Isaiah. Do not remember the former events, nor consider the events of old. See, I am doing what is new. Let it now spring forth. Do you not know it? I am even making a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Rivers in the desert. How many of us have seen, read, or been informed that the Sahara Desert is showing some flooding? How many of us are seeing areas that was dry becoming wet? How many of us are aware that in Amos it speaks of rain flowing in one place and not another? You see, my brothers and sisters, a lot of things that are occurring, there has been proof that it can occur, and that proof informs us that it can occur again. My brothers and sisters, there are actions that make a way for what's ahead, actions to clear obstacles, to clear the path. We must be wise, accepting, and begin to discuss the work we are doing now and going forward. Where are you, O Yashar'al? What is your position? Are you where you're supposed to be? Are you en route to where you're supposed to be? Have you given thought to movement coming? Come take a look at Matthew chapter 3, verse 1 and 3. Matthew chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. For it is written, in those days Yahuah the immerser came proclaiming in the wilderness of Yehudah, and saying, repent, for the reign of the heavens have come near. For this is he who was spoken of by the prophet Yashar'al, saying, a voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuah, make his path straight. So we see Yahuah, or John, being used to make the path straight, to make way, to announce the arrival of the physical word of Yahuah, Yahusha. Let us begin to have discussions. And Yahuah just might open our eyes. Keep in mind that clearing path contributes to us moving forward freely and set apartness with the power, the might, the wisdom, the belief, the trust, the strength to indeed journey this path that is laid out for these end of days. Even the things hidden will be revealed to show us Abba Yahuah is not slack concerning clearing path. In other words, no obstacle will be hidden that will not be revealed in order that our paths become clear. We will see clearly. We will know what must be done. Have the discussion. What path are you on? What expectations do you have? Do we have? Take a look at Proverbs 27:5 as I take you there. Proverbs 27:5. It says open reproof is better than hidden love. Sometimes open reproof is necessary to clear the path, to bring correction, so that we do not journey down a path that is wicked. Ecclesiastes 12:14. Take a look at it as well. For Elohim, the Almighty One, shall bring every work into right ruling, including all that is hidden, whether good or whether evil. We will see clearly where we should be, and some of us will yield to correction and get back on the right path. Some of us might not recognize it. And to death. It would be wise to begin seeking to discern the realities of what has been laid out by Abba Yahuah for clearing path. Let us recognize the discipline that is needed to strengthen us. You, me, Yashar'al. Never forget the Spirit of Yahuah comes in Yahusha's name. As written in John 14:26. Keep in mind, his Spirit dwells in us. And by dwelling in us, in you, in me, he works in us, through us, one towards another. We learn to identify what is set apart. We listen, we learn, we speak. Take a look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16. It says, what union has the dwelling place of the Almighty One with idols? For you are a dwelling place of the living Almighty One, as the Almighty One has said, I shall dwell in them, walk among them, and I shall be their Almighty One, and they shall be my people. If he's dwelling in you, in me, in us, and we listening and speaking to one another, is that not the Almighty Father working in us, through us, one towards another? It goes on to state in the 17th and 18th verse, 6th chapter, 2 Corinthians. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahuah. Do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahuah, the Almighty One. And as sons and daughters to Yahuah, we see that we are journeying on a path being cleared by him working in us, through us. Also, take a look at Colossians chapter 3, 16 and 17. Colossians chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. It says, let the word of Messiah dwell in you richly, teaching you and admonishing one another in all wisdom and singing with pleasure in your hearts to the Master in psalms and songs of praise and spiritual songs. And whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Master Yahusha, giving thanks to the Almighty One, the Father, through him. The word of Messiah is talking about his Spirit, which dwells in us, working in us one towards another. Sure, we have the scriptures, we have the letter, we have the text, but make no mistake, it is the living word of the Almighty Father, which comes in Yahusha's name, that makes the text alive. So let us not lean on the letter, the text alone, but let us read, study, pray, and seek to discern what it is saying to us. Dwell in us. How many of us realizes we will soon face tough decisions necessary for clearing paths? There will be movement, with some left behind. There will be times we must come away. We will also experience moments of purging wickedness from our presence. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, be advised and take note to Matthew 10, 34 and 35. Matthew 10, 34 and 35. It is written, do not think I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to bring division, a man against his father, a daughter against a mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And it continues in 36 and 37 verse. And the man's enemy are those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he continues. Verse 38 to 40. And he who does not take up his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. And he who has found his life shall lose it. And he that has lost his life for my sake shall find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. And it continues, verse 41 and 42. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he who receives a righteous one in the name of a righteous one shall receive a righteous one's reward. Let me pause for a minute, my brothers and sisters. When it says he who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet, that's talking about receiving one that there are brothers and sisters who confirm that this person is a prophet. It's not talking about a prophet that's supposed to be running around and say, well, I'm a prophet of Yahuah. Receive me. I'm a prophet. I'm a prophet. Nowhere do we see scriptures telling prophets to say that they are prophets. But we see in the scriptures where the people saw and identified that person was a prophet of Yahuah. And he who receives a righteous one. So it's not just simple as saying, I'm a righteous one. It's to the person who witnessed your actions, who hears your words, and have the obstacles removed for them to discern that your actions are indeed righteous. Just by running around saying, I'm a righteous one, that doesn't do it, my brothers and sisters. And it said, and whoever gives one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a taught one, truly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. Pray earnestly, my brothers and sisters. Clearing paths. The Almighty Father equips us with the armor, that set-apart armor. He equips us with the tools, the mindset, to clear the paths that are ahead. Pray earnestly, for clearly we will face some emotional challenge that gives us the strength to purge, to deal with the division that Yahusha spoke of, that I read in the 10th chapter of Matthew. We will learn how to make hard decisions and press forward. We will be tasked with identifying our true set-apart family. Remember these words, O Yashar'al. Come with me to Matthew 12. Matthew 12th chapter, verse 46 and 47. For it is written, and while he was still taken to the crowds, see his mother and brother stood outside seeking to speak with him. And one said to him, see, your mother and your brothers are standing outside seeking to speak with you. And it continues. I'm in Matthew 12, 47, and it continues. Verse 48 and 49 says, but he answered and said to one who spoke to him, who is my mother? And who are my brothers? And having stretched out his hand towards his taught ones, he said, see my mother and my brothers. And it continues with him saying, for whoever does the desire of my Father who is in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. You see, my brothers and sisters, when we begin to discern the fullness of the text, then we understand when he talks about my brother, sister, and mother, he's talking about we are connected as one in set apartness. We are the family of Yashar'al, a family that's participating in paths being cleared to bring us together in unity. We will see that the discipline of the Almighty Father will work in us, the work that is necessary for clearing the paths. It is easy to read and even say we believe, but how many of us are prepared to sever ties to individuals close to us? Trust and believe out of Abba Yahuwah's discipline, we will be able to make the tough decision, Clearing paths is a necessity for fulfilling the promises from the Almighty Yahuah. It will come to be. The time to get focused and push into the realities of end times is now, my brothers and sisters. Now, can you make that decision when it comes? Do we see others making hard decisions? Visit Hebrews 7 chapter, verse 25 and 26, as I gradually come towards an end of this. And I repeat the title often, because though it is two simple words, they are filled with much to learn from them. Clearing path, the removal of obstacles takes place. The path must be identified. The directions the path meanders or curves and turns must be identified. Let's look at Hebrews 7, 25 and 26. They say, therefore he is also able to save completely those who draw near to the Almighty One, through him everlasting to make intercession for them. For it was fitting that we should have such a high priest, kind, innocent, undefiled, having been separated from sinners and exalted above the heavens. We will see that in this clearing of path, we have a guide. We have a guide. We have a counselor. We have a teacher. It goes on to say, who does not need, as those high priests, to offer up slaughter offering day by day, first for his own sins and then for those of the people. For this he did once for all when he offered up himself. It is speaking of Yahusha, my brothers and sisters. That everlasting guide who equip us, strengthen us, direct us on how to walk, how to be participants, how to help in clearing paths. How many of us realize that by Yahusha offering up himself, this was the ultimate demonstration of clearing paths? Because no man can come to the Father, Yahuah, who is spirit everywhere at all times, except by his word, Yahusha. Without Yahusha, the path is not clear. There is no way. We would be blinded in our ignorance and rebellion. As the Spirit of Yahuah, who comes in the name of his word, Yahusha, works in us one towards another, we will grow to appreciate the work for clearing the path. We will learn how to shout, hallelujah. We'll learn how to embrace the joy of set apartness made possible. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. When we study, pray, we will discover each day Abba Yahuah equips us with all that is needed for clearing path. There are actions that make our eyes open to see more clearly, receive, and grow in wisdom and maturity. As these paths are clear, they're not just clear just to be saying they're cleared. They're cleared for a purpose. Rise up, set apart family. This journey is very real. Let us seek to discern the expectations Abba Yahuah has for each of us and yield. By yielding to Abba Yahuah's living directions, we will better manage the process for recognizing what clearing path represents and why this is important. For movement is coming. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Have the discussion with a brother or sister. Have the discussion. What paths are being cleared? What should we be doing now? With each passing day, are we creating some distance from where we were? Whether it be in mental and spiritual growth and maturity, or whether it be physically moving away, moving towards that exit point, if we are to be among those gathered from the four corners of the earth. Are we nearing that time? Consider the things to be doing and start doing. Pray earnestly, my brothers and sisters. Don't take this subject clearing path, though I was redundant or repetitive in it, let it soak. Let it stir your spirit. Be encouraged that the life that you have received, that we have received, is for a purpose. On that note, Yashar'al, if you listen from beginning to end, I thank you. I praise the Almighty Father Yahuah through his word, Yahusha working in us, through us one towards another. May you be encouraged and of good health. If I said anything that remotely nudged you closer to the Almighty Father, through his word, Yahusha, through his spirit stirring in you, I encourage you to subscribe, share, and like. Build the algorithm that we may spread one towards another things that can help us and encourage us. On that note, thank you for your patience, my brother, my sister. Thank you for your patience. Stay tuned. There's more to come as I receive breath and encouragement from Abba Yahuah through his word. And I believe wholeheartedly, I'm compelled to believe, as we begin to recognize that Yahusha is the word of Yahuah, and this is how we communicate and understand and experience the desires of the Spirit of Yahuah, and that is through his word. On that note, I end by saying shalom to you. Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Continue to be encouraged.